M80 cannot find a way to counter that, which they showed no consistent way of doing on map number 2. Then Wildcard set themselves up for victory here.
Yes, they definitely do. Also, keep in mind, we don't know who's starting where for this third map. There's going to be a knife round for the decider, and it sounds like we have waited long enough. We are getting into the action. This is the decider. It's effectively a best of one, and M80 on the T side makes me think that they probably won the knife round. But regardless, we are into the action. We have full Kevlar for Wildcard. They're looking to take fights. M80, set of utility for one, and Rek is the one to find the opener. Sonic, a good trade, catches him jumping around, and JBA finds a second. Sonic trades out Infinite. JBA drops Manx. It's just slacks. He has Kevlar, but he's a lot to do. 1 versus 3. Dancing with the player on site. Can't get a clean duel, and the numbers bolster Wildcard's chances in that one. They win the round. They take the pistol on their CT side, and they start this third and final map with their best foot forward.
That's 3 straight pistol rounds for Wildcard as well. M80 won the first 2. Wildcard have won the subsequent 3. Always a good thing to win your pistol rounds, and in an MR12, the way the economy is, pistol rounds become exponentially more important. No bomb plant means no force spy for M80 either on their T side, and so they have a decoy and 2 flashbangs, Glocks on the rest, and aggression from Wildcard, grouping up, trying to play the numbers game with their SMGs. I like that call a lot. It's the information they have to know now. It's going to be an AN. JBA can support the pool. And he will get at least 600, 1,200, not quite 1,800, but he does get 3 kills out of it. Finally does get dropped. Doesn't look like a bomb plant will be coming through here for M80, though. A slight will come through to make sure nothing crazy happens. And a pretty clean, easy 2-0 start for Wildcard here on map number 3.
Good start and best that could be asked for them. Denied the bomb plant as well. There'll be AKs, but a little bit lacking on the utility for M80, perhaps. The AKs, though, should give them a hefty advantage going into round number 3. Can they upend the expected slow start that we've seen from them time and time again? Can they finally put a round on the board rather quickly? Or will Wildcard begin to forge a solid lead in the early stages of this third map? Good spam from Sonic. Takes down Manx, but at a hefty cost. Sonic down to 16. Still though, a very solid start, all things considered. Smoke through the smoke. Rek drops JBA in response, but was a solid advantage, and control quickly falls away. Wildcard, I like their CT defense. It's proactive. It's aggressive. We talked about wanting to see it. It comes through here. This time around, though, it is punished. JBA, unseated. 4 versus 4, though. Still a lot of work for M80 to do if they want to win this first rifle round.
Very large amount of work for M80 to do. A second kill would go a long way to making it easier. But they've yet to find any inroads besides that opening pick. No re-peeking, no over-aggression from the CT side. A wise decision from Wildcard in that regard. Slight, though, might make contact here. Peeks out. Gets chased away. Broadsides exchanged. Swisher takes a little bit of chip damage. In comes the Molotov. Mobs will strike from behind. Sonic on 16 HP is a one-shot. And he's tucked behind a smoke in the cover, looking to catch somebody off guard. He'll grab Mobs and maybe even Slacks as well. Stanislaw at the very least falling for the favor of M80. But Sonic is still around. It looks like it will be a save here between Sonic and Infinite. They do not want to go back for the save their guns. And so we see a 2-1 start to map number 3. And M80 with the guns in hand look alive.
It's what they need. Now the question is, will these same issues plague them in map number 3 as map number 2? Their T side, they found victories, they found success, and it was quickly ripped away from them thereafter, stymieing any sort of potential to balance out, to stabilize. Can M80 get 2 in a row on the board early on in this first half of map 3? Wildcard, what's the investment? Should be some rifles dropped. Should still be a solid buy overall. Slight has an op. That is a big weapon to have. Lacking utility on a couple, sure. That's the compromise you make for an op in round number 4. M80 though, similar concessions made. Only 2 surviving means they'll have to have some Galils on Mobs and Manx. Those weapons though, can still be very powerful against the Oppo Slight.
Another defaulty round from M80 as they work their way around the map. Nothing super big found just yet. As this round starts to tick nearer the minute mark. Manx gaining some ground in E-box. Molly's a clear, sprays away. Counter utility thrown. But no real damage. Wreck does finally fall. Stanislaw and JBA take some damage, and Swisher will finish off Infinite. So there's a pick on each side of the map for each team. Sonic in a very hard spot to clear, but Manx can catch the timing. Swisher will have to finish the job, takes a dink in the meantime. Slight has that op on sight. He is obscured by the smoke for a brief moment in time as Stanislaw makes his way on through. Bomb plant in the smoke, covered by the obelisk space as well. Mobs trying to get out of there, spotted by the op as Stanislaw dies to Swisher's hand. Slight, though, kind of stuck on a bit of an island. Has JBA with him. Swisher drive-by the USP. There is no save right now for Wildcard. They're all in on this round. JBA finishes Manx. Slacks, peeks, he jiggles, and he's finished by JBA. 2 big kills for him, 2 for Slight, and the lead stays and it grows for Wildcard here. But a costly round victory and a bomb plant mean that we're still pretty much equivalent economically.
No, I'd say Wildcard's a bit better off. Manx on 2,700, Mobs on 3,100. The buy is going to be desperate from them if they choose to go for it. Swisher can barely afford an AK and armor. It would probably behoove M80 at this stage to go for pistol Kevlar. Go for an aggressive play, a quick pop, maybe go middle, drop through the window, something along those lines. And clearly, they're left at a crossroads. They know that they can go for it. They know that they can save, and so they'll call a tactical pause to talk things out. Swisher seems rather keen on going for it, as does Wreck. Swisher, he goes for a body armor, AK smoke. I like the call. Can be a little bit risky, though. But again, the trend continues. M80 find one, and then that one is swiftly isolated by Wildcard. Wildcard do very well to recover after tough losses. This map appears to be no different. M80, you put a round and a second round behind it on the board to really find inroads on this decider. If they can't do that, this map is all but certainly going to go the way of Wildcard.
It is that force for M80. Deagle and Tech 9, the pistols, AKs, the rifles. No little cheeky window drop name. At least not yet. Lots of mid control, though. Mobs leading the charge, walking over the bridge. No mid control at all from Wildcard. It's a complete abandonment of this vicinity of the map. And not really anybody watching the angles either. Slight finally making his way back towards A to keep an eye on the cross. And the op might just yield the first kill of the round. The flash will blind him away. Reinforcements will be called for. Slight has to shotgun op. He misses. And Swisher puts him down. Sonic falls in the meantime on rotation. As Wreck is holding the back lines. They know where JBA is as well. He's finished off by Wreck as well. Young Wreck against young JBA. Compatriots in age. But enemies on the server. 2 rounds now for M80 as there's no retake here for Wildcard. The bomb's gone down, 5 alive. And the CTs know their money is in a really rough spot. Save the A1Ss, save that kid on Stan. And see if they can stand tall in round number 6, actually. This is round number 5, and I think Wreck's going to be fine all the way back where he is. Swisher's getting out of dodge as well. No zany hijinks to end this one.
No, nothing wacky, nothing aggressive. M80 know keeping 5 alive is rather important to build a T-side economy very quickly, and so they'll keep all 5 as a figure. Swisher should upgrade to a helmet. Swisher should upgrade to a helmet. He might overlook it because he might forget that he didn't get one. And that could be a consequence. Could have knock-on effects in this round, round number 6. Slight has a FAMAS that would one-shot. The A1Ss would also one-shot when they normally wouldn't. M80. Big question, can they put 2 in a row on the board? That's what I want to know. They've been unable to do so on Ancient. They've been unable to do so thus far on this map. Can they finally break the curse?
So far, I will say we have seen these two teams towards the better end of their performances throughout this series. Oh, the boost up for Stanislaw traded back, and it's a 4v4. Still, that'll favor the T side a little bit early. Maybe not so much as we get into the later rounds, but in the 4v4, there is a little more space to be gained. This little double crunch from E-Box, though, is going to be huge. But Manx deals with the first. Lights just behind that smoke. Molotov forcing him forward. He steps. He's spotted. And Rex there to back up his in-game leader. From a 4v4 to a 4v2. M80 looking to put this curse to bed. Swisher gun out. Wins that fight. The lack of a helmet does not come back to bite him. And JBA, the last man standing, is on the right site. But can he actually impact this one in a serious manner? The bomb is going to cross in the open. So he might be able to drop that.
There's a smoke. They'll at least peek
or
it
they'll just fight it.
Yeah, they'll fight it with a second, though. They won't let the bomb cross alone. JBA, sure, he was in the right direction. Wasn't even on the right site. I hate to contradict you, but he was very far removed. At this point, he's going to try and save, but Rek probably will not let him. Rek walks in. Rek beheads him. 3-3. The curse is broken 2 rounds in a row for M80 in a tied ball game, along with a hefty advantage now in round number 7. They have rifles. Wildcard should be on a full save, and there should very likely be a 4th and potentially even a 5th for M80, depending on how they play their cards. The money for Wildcard is quite low. They should be investing nothing. They should be using USPs only in this round.
USPs only. No utility. No kits. Nothing special. Except for JBA. He's been a special performer throughout the course of this series so far. And he's been a bright spot to watch. Infinite will get double doinked. And if you're a Bears fan, I just brought back bad memories with that. I'm sorry. Kinda. Kinda not. It was really funny. Not gonna lie. It was very funny. Nate, I know you know nothing about what I'm talking about here.
Yeah, I know. Actually, negative amounts. Like
NFL playoff game, kicker hits both uprights of the field goal and the ball bounces out instead of going through.
Oh, that's a classic.
And they lost the game because of it.
A fumble, some might say. No.
It's become infamous.
Makes sense.
But that's just life as a Bears fan. I'm a Charger fan, so I can't really say anything besides I feel your pain.
Okay. Ooh. Did Stanislaw just hit him while flying through the sky? I think he did.
I think so.
Interesting shenanigans, perhaps. So rifle now dropped for recovery. That's Sonic picking that weapon up. Plant hits dirt. It's going to be around for M80 regardless, but saving a rifle, pretty important for Wildcard given how tight their economy is. Stanislaw, JBA, and Slight should all be looking for exits at this point. No reason to save a weapon you didn't buy. Stanislaw might catch Swisher or might compel Swisher to stay in this corner a little bit longer. Swisher finds the kill, runs away. Should be able to survive here if I'm not mistaken. Yep. I'm very far away. Slight and JBA will find nothing, but the rifle is brought into the following, and that's all that really matters for Wildcard. I got something out of that round at the very least. M80, though, 3 in a row. Now Wildcard are feeling the pressure. Tactical timeout used. Rifles in hand, at least, but no op present yet again for Slight. Whereas Slacks has one in his hands, and he's very keen on using it.
T-side opping, not exactly the easiest, though, Nate. That'll be a bit of a difficult thing for him to get into this game with, but if Wildcard get aggressive, then the op becomes a lot easier to work with. And in the post plants, of course, the op is incredibly strong. But Wildcard, with this timeout, will have to have a change of pace here. They'll have to pick up something different. They showed adaptation, but it took a long time in this series. They need a faster adaptation, a faster adjustment. And what is the adjustment? What's the call? It's a 3-stack B, 1 towards A, 1 towards middle. And that op is looking for that opening pick. The smokes will obscure that vision, allow Slight to move around the site a little bit more freely. And this canal play from Wildcard, very intriguing here. As they're going for a crunch, they have Stanislaw pushed all the way through A main as well. Rek watching from the window, spots out Infinite, but he can't capitalize on it. Spots the armor Stanislaw as well. The jig is up, the play is known, but it's all down to finishing off the kills for M80 at this point.
They have the information, the play is up. Surprise factor eliminated. And while I do like the call, we've seen a myriad of looks from Wildcard. I will give them props for that. Some around the execution isn't quite flawless, and they invested a lot of utility in setting up that play as well. Now all that utility is left by the wayside with no kills to show for it. They have 2 flashes, a nade, a Molotov, and that's it. No smokes to buy time. That could be an issue. M80, what's the call? A straight walk towards A. They re-clear, angles out. They're making the right call. There's no one here. Wildcard grouping up towards middle, hoping to get aggressive and find something. Slacks, though, negotiates the crossing safely enough. Rek, taking point, is looking for an opening. Player in heaven gets a dink, but not a kill. ABA rotating it quickly enough to get here, but Mobs in the meanwhile drops Infinite over towards the exit sign. Sonic and JBA, though, aren't done yet. They're going to fight their way in. 3 kills found. Rek on site finally activates, getting 1, but the rotations have come through, and Rek is overrun. The last alive is Slacks. He crossed middle and was caught there, tagged down to 49 with no bomb and no time. He is sent running into the hills. 1 versus 3, no chance there, let alone given the time. Wildcard off the back of their timeout do find success, albeit not with the fanciful strategy they had in mind.
Hey, it worked. And it's going to be a confidence builder for Wildcard as well. And that's the big thing, too. They need to build that confidence. They need to build that momentum through this series. A very rough start. A good finish on map 2, although it got shaky there in the midpoint. And here on map 3, it's about as dead even as you could ask for, which is kind of what we expected as well. And we expected that pretty much 50-50 coin flip, a double OT in their last meeting about a week ago. This is definitely living up to the expectation. But M80 have also shown they've kind of struggled in the chaos over maps 2 and 3 so far. Map 1, chaos was their friend. They won the pistol round of the opening map. The first pistol round, the first round of this whole entire series, because of chaos. They've struggled towards the tail end of the series with it. Now the op might not be spotted because of all the flashbangs, just completely blinding everybody. Molotov's onto Slight. He's double mollied, and he's still alive for some brief moment in time. Stanislaw goes 1 for 1. JBA out A main as well will not be expected, surely. They do try to molly him out. Now he peeks. Flames actually saving his life, thrown by M80, but Manx around the cake is holding on for dear life. Slight still in the pool, has not been removed. They know he's there, but he still gets one. Big spot from behind, and Wildcard back in the lead. The chaos again benefiting the team on the CT side.
Wildcard's rotations have been good. Their positions on site have been relatively unorthodox, or at least unexpected by M80. Wildcard, which looked very good overall. Again, we were dubious earlier on about their complete lack of control towards middle. That round was no different. M80 got control. They got through exit for free, but that was because Wildcard were heavily stacking over towards A main. 1 on the platform, 1 in actual A main proper, and that paid off in a massive way. It allowed for rotations to come through off of the initial take. It allowed them to stay alive long enough to be thorns in the side of M80. And M80 now find themselves on the back foot yet again. Wildcard using a timeout, talk things out, slow things down. Maybe got a little hectic in the comms. Also, to talk out their buy because it's still not the best. They're investing most of the money they gained back into this round. M80 as well. While their coffers are no longer lined as they were, they still have enough to get a solid investment in this one. Opt for Slacks, no such luxury for Slight, however. Could give M80 the edge they need in round number 10. Very distinct possibility. It's like Slack's op has been very disjointed. It's holding across the map away from a majority of the pressure points from M80. That just leaves it too disjointed, too far away to have any real impact. Wildcard, not overextending on opposite sides of the map, instead just playing in one direction, and this round is over in the blink of an eye. Wreck, a team kill for good measure. 7-4 for Wildcard. They have secured the advantage. An 8-4 on the CT side of all sides would definitely be a statement on Anubis. The trends. Freshens up the formula for sure. Something to do besides just waiting out the smoke. Wreck has been very much bullied in towards A main, but that won't stop him from finding success. Slight dropping Manx, but Wreck trading it back. Top of Slacks, an uncharacteristic miss there, and he is definitely kicking himself for that, as you can tell. Stanislaw drops Swisher. 4 versus 2 secured. IGL not overextending, just playing exit sign, looking for something, looking for information. Molotov is one such piece. He spots the op, doesn't overextend. Just gonna wait for rotations to come through. 2 players on the flank. Stanislaw is more than content setting up for the retake.
Flames will look around the site. A push through by Stanislaw just completely blindsides Wreck. He's looking the wrong direction. Sonic comes in as well. And M80's force buy is all for nothing. It's an 8-4 half for Wildcard as we head to half number 2.
Wildcard proving the momentum from map number 2 can be translated into map number 3. A dominant 8-4 performance on the CT side of Anubis. It's Pineapple Phillips and Boggs on the microphone. Wildcard with a hefty advantage. Wildcard, while they are favored on their CT side of this map, M80 are favored on the T, and that performance is somewhat disappointing, all things considered. Aggression towards B main for M80 does not pan out as they would hope. Slacks, the player who flashed them in, now left with a lot to find. He finds no luck, no safe harbor. Mob was the last alive. 1 versus 4. He's caught Slight, the first small trial pass, but now he has to find the next 3. Flashes in, good for 1, but Sonic is quick on the trade. Wildcard continue to translate the momentum from half number 1 into half number 2, sweeping both pistol rounds on this deciding map.
4 straight pistols for Wildcard. And with an 8-4 lead, winning that second half pistol is pretty much a death sentence for anyone on the opposite side. That case being M80 here and now. They'll force up with a Deagle on 2, a Scout, a 5.7, and an MP9. Minimal utility, 0 defuse kit. Meanwhile, Wildcard are anticipating this kind of a force, so it is a more rifle-heavy buy-up for the Ts. 2 AKs, the Galil, and the double MAC-10 setup. Mank's so aggressive here, but 1 and done just does not cut it for M80 anymore, Nate. They need 2 for 1s at a minimum. Preferably clean fights 1. They haven't been able to get that consistently over the last 2 maps. Been a big problem for them. There's Malms to chime in. Manx will get another, but they both fall, so in the end, it ends up being 1 for 1s. Or in this case, a 2 for 2. JBA and Slight scaling forward. Sonic picking off Wreck. And this one is a disaster for M80 unless they can find some magic back in. The Scout for Slacks has found a tag onto Slight from the looks of things. Swisher is making the right read back to B, so is Slacks, but can the Deagle and Scout combo really lead to anything? There's 1. Bomb on site. Big info here. But Swisher falls off for mid. The Scout tags down Sonic. Looking for the next. It's JBA. Bomb going down. It's a fake. Slacks creeping forward. Swisher there with him. JBA's protecting Sonic, as Slacks goes far too far forward. And JBA with the 4K. He's going to hold the line here. And Wildcard 3 rounds away from sending M80 into an elimination bout with Boss later on tonight.
It has been the Liquid waiting in the wings for the victor of this one for, what, like an hour and a half at this point? An hour? The 13-5 in both of the first 2 maps in their favor. This would have been very different, whether it be technical issues or, of course, going the distance to the third. Very different state of affairs for this matchup. Wildcard. Wind in their sails. Momentum is theirs. 3 rounds to separate them from a duel with Liquid. M80. On just pistols, forced into a save round. Got a couple of Eagles and a 5.7 for a little bit of good luck, but given that the 4 in the round prior did not work out, I don't expect the pistols to fare any better.
I have to agree. In fact, I think the pistols will probably fare significantly worse. Unless they can just find some sort of chaotic lucky stack that works out, but the odds of that are not very high, and Wildcard are doing their due diligence, clearing everything slowly but carefully. 1 step at a time, 1 corner at a time, death ball formation. They're going into the stack, though. This is where things can get crazy. The MAC-10 strikes for 1. The USP won't find anything. In comes Bulbs and makes with 3, and all of a sudden there's a chance, but that chance evaporates as Stanislaus sprays down his counterpart. And there is only 2 more rounds separating Wildcard and a date with Liquid. I don't know if I'd classify that as necessarily a fun date, but Wildcard can make it worthy nonetheless. Liquid that just took down Boss 13-5 on 2 maps. That's a scoreline and a half for them, especially considering how weak they looked at the RMR qualifier. They still have to get through M80, although M80 looking flatter and flatter as time rolls by. Slacks has that op on the CT side. Still only 1 kill to his name. That is a huge issue. Malbs has caught up towards Wreck and Swisher. There's really been no game-changing plays for M80 here on map number 3. Nothing that really sparks confidence or gives some sort of hope.
Solid start
Down
for
goes
Infinite.
Slacks.
Yeah, a big, fortunate opening, I should say. Infinite pushing fourth, finds a second. Malbs, the third. A contingency holding it an off angle does finally put an end to his reign, but doesn't matter. The advantage is secured. The Wildcard aren't going to squander that either. 3 now down towards Canal, looking to split towards B. Sonic, the other one, last to activate, will come in from B main. Wreck, Swisher. 2 of the solid performers for this team, at least, on the site. Good Molotov. Slow down the take. Nice time for a rotation. It's going to be a gamble stack from M80. There was a time for them to come back. It would be now. Make your stand. All 3 are here. Molotov comes in. Good start for Rek. A second swing. Not quite found, but Rek does at least trade. 2 versus 2. The player up close, though. Rek is caught, and Malbs is traded 1 for 1 by Sonic through the smoke. 12-4. Wildcard looking to put this series to bed in dominant fashion as they look leagues ahead of M80 on Anubis.
Leagues indeed. In distance and in depth, Nate. It's just all Wildcard throughout the course of map number 3. A very close, it was a 4-4 scoreline. That's 8 rounds in a row for Wildcard here. And they don't look like stopping. They don't look like turning around and going back the other direction. M80 have thrown whatever they could at Wildcard, and it just hasn't stuck at all. It's bounced off like a rubber ball. And in the meantime, Wildcard have gotten great plays from players like JBA and Sonic. Stanislaus had his moments as well. But overall, they've looked more composed, they've looked more structured, they've made better decisions. And I think the latter is the most important part of it all. The decision-making in the micro game has been so much better for Wildcard over the last 2 maps. M80 have not been able to compete. And the sort of red flags, the danger signs that I've seen from M80 over the last few maps and matches have really come to fruition here and bloomed into this poisonous flower of death as they seem to be on a devolution spiral towards the end of this series.
They've been left at a loss. They've had no adjustments that could really help out. Wildcard, again, looking overly regimented in map number 1. A wholly different look in maps number 2 and 3. I love the variety of setups they had on the CT side. I love how slow and yet directed their play is. They haven't been upset or caught off kilter by the likes of Wildcard. Or by the likes of M80, excuse me. Wildcard, ready to find a 13th, looking ready to face off against Liquid. Manx trying to make the best of the bad situation on site, finds 1 and 2. No, it's Manx, Swisher, and Rek, excuse me. Each combining fire for 1 apiece. Could be they have a little bit of gas left in the tank, M80. Swisher takes down Slight Infinite, offering some resistance towards middle, but he is spammed away by Maul. It was a pretty clean round, all things considered. M80 finally offering us something on the CT side, but where was this earlier? It's way too late at this stage, in my opinion. 7 rounds are still required just to get to overtime.
7 rounds in a row would have to be 8 total. I mean, Wildcard did it, so theoretically it's possible. We've seen it done just in this very map alone by their opposition. But M80 need to show us a lot more to even get me believing, Nate. I'm still in the point of view where Wildcard can reasonably win this round with a Glock in hand. And I would not be surprised the way that the 2 teams have been performing this game. I would not be shocked. I would not be befuddled. It would be like, all right, cool. That actually seems that checks out. It's how the 2 teams have been playing right now. And I think a lot of it does go down to the T-side calls of Stanislaus. If things start slipping out of his control, maybe we'll see things go back to the favor of M80, but still, 8 rounds of match point. 7 rounds to this point now. It's such a long road back in. And even a big individual round from somebody like JBA can completely win a round for you. At this point, with so many match points in a row, you can find your way lucking into a victory, and I don't think Wildcard will even need that. There's the first kill. JBA, speaking of the devil, starts it off. Slacks will get 1 in return, but Manx has gone down. AK upgrades now. Slight in stand on the Kalashnikovs. Bomb being planted. Slacks looking for a victim, but he cannot find a push. Sonic, close corner, takes advantage of Wreck tossing in the nade, has that backup from Infinite. 2 more kills to 5, make it 1. It's all up to Slacks. He has 1. He spots the next. He's volleyed out. He goes through. He would have burned if Stanislaw did not put him through with the AK. A 13-5 for Wildcard to dominate M80 in this opening round of the IEM Chengdu closed qualifier. Nate, Wildcard is here, and they've just made a statement.